on, guys? Welcome back to The Save Show. This is your host, Justin. This is a personal audio journal that I'll complete weekly. You can walk with me in real time as I continue to develop my relationship with Christ to try to become a better husband and a better father and overall better man. If you want to support the show, please check out our Instagram page, The Save Show. Plenty of memes out there. Share the show out there on social media. It does a lot of good for us. I appreciate it. Also, we have our merchandise on the saved.store. Some cool stuff coming up at the turn of the month from September to October. I've developed a couple of new designs that I'd like to put out there. This is our God Wins shirt from the springtime. It's getting chilly here in Iowa, so happy to put this back on again. Hopefully we can get some cold gear out there on the merchandising shop as well. Thanks for all the support lately. Last week, we are coming off of a brilliant and wonderful conversation with my friend Eric. Eric does kettlebell on Instagram, if you guys want to go follow him. A lot of great feedback from that episode, and actually the most amount of listens we've ever had on the show. So appreciate all the support. Thank you, Eric, if you're listening, or anybody still listening after that episode. I'm glad that you're here. I appreciate the support and all the love. We are going to continue to do the show, continue to work to edify myself and walk better with Christ, like I stated at the beginning, and develop this brand. Yeah, we're going to do that. Just if anybody's new here, this is a podcast that I started this year because I wanted to start a podcast. I consumed a lot of podcasts in my youth, the last 10 years, I would say. And I always had the itch to make something myself. I was listening to the Order of Man podcast with Ryan Mickler, and for the first time in my life, a few years ago, I heard him say that a boy consumes and a man produces. So here I am, creating content, trying to develop the ability of speech, trying to articulate the thoughts that I have in my head so that other people can hear them, not necessarily agree with them. Always happy to have a discussion with somebody. But I've definitely gotten better at speaking through this podcast and through this weekly exercise, trying to develop thoughts and ideas and share them with an audience. So, God wins. That's also the message for the show. Eric and I got into it a little bit. I also got into it a little bit with my friend from the Marine Corps when he came to visit a few weeks ago. At the end of the day, in addition to developing myself as an individual and creating content, putting things out there, being able to articulate myself to a higher degree, if I can help someone in their journey to find God, however God works through this podcast, that's why we're here. Last week with Eric, we talked a lot about the politics end of it, how I'm glad that I left all that behind. And at the end of the day, God wins, not these earthly things that we like to entertain ourselves with. God wins. Our focus should be primarily on Him. To sin is to miss the mark. So I think we should fix our aim on something more important. So, like I said, if this show helps you in any way, I'm glad. It is truly not me or not anything by my design that it's helping people. I truly believe it's God working through the show, through conversation, through any of the stuff that we put out there, memes and Instagram reels and whatever else. It's God working through me as I try to develop myself. And if you find anything from these conversations, from me monologuing and trying to share ideas, then I'm glad. Very glad. God has blessed me this week with plenty of challenges. I need to replace my furnace, which is enough of a challenge in itself. I went up in the attic yesterday to look for bats because the pest guy that came to inspect the house said we might have bats up there. It's month end and half end and month and quarter end at my job, so I'm in sales. So a lot of trying to make revenue happen down to the last second, trying to make things happen. Children were sick, just, colds, nothing crazy, but that definitely adds to it. The toddler needing some help in the middle of the night means a little less sleep. All that to say, there's plenty of things going on in life, and I am trying to focus less on that which stresses me out or gives me anxiety, and more on knowing that God will take care of us. There's been plenty of times when something big comes up and not really because of anything that I did. We end up okay in life. So very grateful, and I know that whatever's going on has a purpose. God's working through all these things in life, and I'm trying to trust him. From Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. So I'm trying to spend more time in prayer, more time praising God for everything that's going well. My beautiful children, wonderful marriage relationship with my wife, and I got to wake up today. Not everybody can say that. I woke up today healthy. I'm 28, almost 29, and life is good. Life is good. Yeah. So if you're out there struggling with anything, I hope that some of that resonates with you. Just trusting God, knowing that everything is happening for his purpose, not necessarily for a reason or any of those cliches that the world tries to tell us, but God is working through every situation. I think it was a sermon that I heard, but this gentleman says, I asked God for strength, and he gave me hard times to create strength in myself. I asked God for patience, and he gave me situations to execute and experience patience. God works through a lot of stuff in this life, and as far as my experience goes, he's always provided, hasn't let me down. Maybe I don't get what I want, but I got what I need, and I'm very grateful. At the end of the day, God wins. I wonder how many times I can do that in a single show. For me personally, I do have like a stress-induced eczema type of thing on my hands, so I'm working through that. I've seen all kinds of dermatologists and muscle testing and trying different supplements. Nothing's worked yet, so if you have any ideas, let me know. Reach out through Instagram would be great, or send an email to the store page. I'll get it. We'll engage, and if anybody offers their expertise, if this is something that you know how to handle, maybe we can have you on and have a conversation. As far as my next guest goes, next month we will have on the Stoic Christian. I don't know his real name, so it'll be interesting. I don't know that he'll do a face reveal on the show, so that'll be fun. That'll be interesting. He's putting out a lot of great content, and I urge you all to go check it out. Stoic Christian on Instagram. I'm trying to line up some other guests for the months to come, so that's October, November. Nobody confirmed yet, but I've sent some feelers out. It'd be great to continue to have at least one guest per month. I know that this is mostly meant to be a me podcast, and I'm not trying to shy away from it, but I do think that the dialogue is important. Last week with Eric, as he said in the show, he's Jewish, me Christian. This is a faith-based show. I appreciate that he came on, that he wasn't afraid to come on. I know that we didn't dive into the religious side of things. Maybe we'll do that next time. He said he'd like to come back. But I still think that the dialogue is important. God can work through any conversation. And so if I have someone on and it's not necessarily focused on faith, I don't think that that's a waste of time. I've had 2 more fitness guys on the show, and then Mr. Lester was more of hearing his testimony, figuring out how to have a guest on the show myself, and going through that experience, which is very beneficial, I think. But the 2 fitness guys, we all have our own struggles with fitness and exercise, staying fit, trying to treat our bodies better as temples for God's glory. So I don't think that anything that we talked about with those gentlemen was a waste, nor a waste of your time. So I hope that all makes sense. I just didn't want people to think that I was shying away from having guests on from a faith standpoint. We're going to certainly do that. There's a gentleman that I've reached out to who recently engaged in a debate concerning the perseverance of saints. Here, let me look it up. or eternal security. So I would love to have him on to discuss that. I'm not really too knowledgeable as far as Calvinism versus Arminianism, but I'd like to become more experienced, more educated regarding those topics, so I think that would be a worthwhile conversation. Personal updates. Might run another marathon, so pray for me. It's about to get cold in Iowa, so not exactly the greatest time to commit to training, but we'll get outside and we'll get it done. I might also grab a treadmill so I can run inside. Other things, life is good. Throwing a birthday party for the young man next month. He likes Batman, so we're going with a Batman theme. It's going to be fun. Have a bunch of family over to the house. Enjoy the good times. 2 years flies by. So if anybody out there is a parent, everybody's heard Ferris Bueller say it, but life does move pretty fast. It's crazy. He's becoming a young boy before my very eyes. It's great to see. Other things, I mentioned the new stuff from the merch shop, some personal struggles. I'm, just dealing with anxiety and trying to trust that God's will be done, trying to glorify God in what I'm doing. No bats. Did not find bats in the attic, so that was great. Praise be. Also, I'm adding a new segment to the show that we'll wrap up with probably. So it's called Hot Takes. I don't know if I'll insert a graphic next time I do this. I'll execute it better as we go. But this is going to be a new segment to the show. At the end, I will pick a quote-unquote controversial topic and provide my hot take in a sentence or two. And then people can reach out, tell me I'm stupid, tell me they disagree. That's all well and good. I will probably balance between actual controversial topics and more funny type of topics. So today, for this first hot take with Justin, you've heard it all before. Very controversial. People on this side and that side going to war for eternity. It's an eternal battle between those who say a hot dog is a sandwich and those who say that it is not a sandwich. I don't know if you're ready to hear this, but I, on the Save Show podcast, am about to tell you that a hot dog is a sandwich. And that's the hot take for the day. Agree or disagree? Let me know. Thanks for tuning in. If we have any new listeners out there, I'm glad you're here. Returning listeners, glad that you're here as well. I appreciate all the support. We're growing the audience here, building a brand together. If you want anything, if you need anything, if you need prayers, let me know. Reach out. We'll continue to build a network of people out there trying to glorify God and honor the Great Commission. I love you. God loves you. And please don't forget, you are saved through Christ.